Okay, so I want to introduce our panel today, and we have limited time, so I'm going to make this quick. I'm just kind of the moderator. I'm going to talk a little bit about my experiences with Zuderin and thinking about going forward. Linda Brent, Rafael Leosi, and Marcela Pineda Vasquez are all here, and they're going to be talking about there we go. I'm going to start out a little bit with some reflections on Zuderin, and then Linda's going to talk about calcium chloride, which I don't have any experience with. Rafael is going to talk about some of the research, and Marcela field use, and then Linda's going to finish up with going forward, and then we hope to have time for questions. So. Next slide, please. Thank you. A couple of questions I want you to be thinking about as we're going forward with intratesticulars. Do males matter? And I know that this is something that I've wrestled with for quite some time. And I recall I've been on the ACC&D board now since 2008. And this was a question that Andrew Rowan posed back early in my career with ACC&D. Do males matter? And I recall the 2010 symposium in Dallas where Zuderin was just getting ready to hit the market, and there was a big presence in the field implementation track regarding Zuderin. There was a training session, and people were all excited about it. I was excited about it because it was the first FDA-approved product, non-surgical sterilant, and I thought, you know, this is really going to generate a lot of interest in terms of the field of non-surgical contraception. And Andrew kind of put the kibosh on that really quickly. He says, well, you know, do males matter? And this is something that we've wrestled with. And I think, you know, John Boone did a really nice job yesterday talking about modeling. And we know we have limited resources. And where do we put these resources? And so that's one question to consider. Are intratesticular sterilants safe and effective? You know, we know that from the data that they are when properly administered. I know that we did a guinea pig study at Illinois that we were going to publish using Zuderin, and the pathologist was a little bit concerned about the degree of inflammation that he saw in the guinea pig testicles. And so I've not seen a study looking at, you know, how much inflammation is there, how much discomfort are these dogs really in. It's reported, at least, you know, clinically, that they're not in any significant discomfort. But the reality is, if you look at it, the testicular tissue microscopically, there's a lot of inflammation there. So I think the question is, are they safe and are they effective? And the last question to ponder, is behavior important, and do intratesticular sterilants affect it? I know a number of veterinarians refused to embrace Zuderin because they were worried that by not eliminating testosterone, these animals would develop behavior problems and then ultimately be relinquished to shelters. So these are questions to ponder as we talk about the intratesticular sterilants going forward. Next slide, please. So Zuderin, that's where the bulk of my experience is. They position this product as the evolution of neutering, and they have some pretty impressive data that shows that testosterone was not eliminated; it was reduced. And of course, if you were listening yesterday, question is, by removing gonads and eliminating sex steroids, are we setting animals up for potential problems later on in life? And the ARC Sciences people, you know, kind of seized on that and said, you know, this product sterilizes male dogs, but it doesn't completely eliminate testosterone. Well, the veterinary community didn't embrace that. And whether or not you choose to believe that having some male hormone is beneficial, the product just did not gain acceptance in the veterinary community. So I don't know why that line is going across there, but you can see this is the Zuterin product profile and position paper that is available on the ACC&D website. For those of you who are not familiar with it, you can download it for free, and it's just a ton of information there about zinc gluconate, asterosol, excuse me, as it's known internationally, or Zuterin as it was marketed in the U.S. Unfortunately, it's off the market now. The company had a bunch of product that didn't sell. It went out of date. I've had some communication with the former president and CEO. My personal opinion is it's not coming back, but unless somebody else picks it up and invests a bunch of money to market it. Next slide, please. I showed this slide in my Repro 101. I bring it back because this gained a lot of publicity when they first launched, and it was positioned as an alternative to surgical sterilization. Next slide. And I showed this slide as well. This is my experience, and those of you that heard Emma Clifford speak yesterday talking about the campaigns in the Dominican Republic. Here we are Zutering male dogs and training a local veterinarian. So it was well accepted in these communities, but this illustrates a point that training is really important. Injection technique is vitally important in preventing complications and potential bad outcomes. Next slide. Next slide, thank you. So I don't have any personal experience with calcium chloride, and this is kind of a segue into the next part of our discussion here. But I just want to remind you that the ACC&D does have information on calcium chloride on our website, and it's been around for a while, but the vast majority of research and data has emerged recently, and our group here is going to address that as part of this presentation. And so calcium chloride also received some publicity in terms of an article that was in the Wall Street Journal talking about too many dogs, a simple solution. And I don't want to say too much about calcium chloride because, again, I don't have any personal experience, but I'll leave that to the rest of our group. And up next is Dr. Linda Brent. I think is that my line? Oh, yeah. This is a picture of calcium chloride castration, and notice that how the injection is being done from the caudal aspect of the testicle, whereas on the slide that I had, the Zuterin was injected from the cranial pole. Why that's different, I don't know. I'll let them address that.